The United States is not giving up its quest for tougher sanctions against Iran. Other countries are also worried about Iran's nuclear powers. So is it simply fears about nuclear weapons that's fueling this fight? Joining me now from our New York studio is political activist Dr. William Wedeen. Dr. Wedeen, talk to me a little bit about what you're seeing here in terms of what the United States government is saying and doing in terms of its threats against Iran.
Okay, well, for the past 30 years, ever since the Iranian Revolution, the United States has consistently sought to undermine democracy in Iran and push it in a theocratic direction or a direction of a military dictatorship. The philosophy has been that if they can push Iran in that direction and undermine democratic forces, that there will then either be an explosion from below and a regime change from within, or else it would give us a great excuse to come in and liberate the country. One piece of evidence of that was in 2005, when George Bush went on national television the day before the Iranian election, told the Iranian voters, the reformist voters, to stay home, don't bother. The vote was rigged, and as a result, Ahmadinejad won. You can say that the Iranian voters figured that George Bush knew something about rigged elections, so they decided that he was probably right and stayed home.
Dr. Wedeen,
Before that,
let's talk about this, though, real quick. I mean, the United States does not have a lot of extra time or money to need excuses or to want excuses to go and, quote, liberate Iran. I mean, we are involved in 2 wars here in the United States. Why would they want Iran to be next?
Well, I think they want to be able to attack Iran by air at the time and place of their choosing. I don't think they have a set timetable, but we saw this in Serbia. We've seen this in other countries where first they soften up a country with economic sanctions which don't undermine the government but do destroy the industry. Then at some point they launch military intervention, and then when the country crumbles, they come in and the big corporations are there to rebuild the country. And if you think about Serbia, most of the targets there, 86%, were economic targets, things like state-owned car factories. So when we then later came in, we were able to bring our multinational corporations in to rebuild the infrastructure. It's pretty much laid out in Naomi Klein's Disaster Capitalism, which I highly recommend.
Well, what about this situation with Iran? I mean, do you see a lot of signs that this is something that could happen now? I mean, you talk about wanting to attack instead of military targets, economic targets. I mean, what do you think are the most concrete signs that we're seeing now here in Iran?
I think it's a retread of what we've seen before, accusations that Iran is sponsoring terrorism. It's the leading sponsor of terrorism. They're talking up the Iran nuclear threat. This is all what we had before under George Bush. Now it's Obama. So it's not that much different. The shocking things for a lot of progressives is that Obama is singing the same tune as Bush when it comes to these accusations.
All right, Dr. William Wedeen, certainly the elephant in the political stage, elephant on the political stage, I guess we should say, for Iran. Thanks so much for joining us.